some of the people who live in, towns and cities where these activities are going on. And it really touched me. It was at that point that, I really felt the need to also add my voice to, what is really going on, like the water they drink, the life, the standard of living, everything is just some way. Meanwhile, you realize that in some developed countries also, it is the cities where they mine all these mineral resources are the cities where you realize such and such companies have actually done their corporate social responsibility so much that they pump back into those cities with infrastructure, job for the people. They make sure that, they're giving back to some extent to develop those places. But that is not the case in our own Takwa and all these places. So that point that really touched me was the how these people were feeling. And for me, I feel a lot for my people, because I am one too. Because whatever happens to one happens to you too. Like the water bodies that are being contaminated and the soils that are being left infertile. These would affect us. Some years to come, we might be importing water to drink and so on and so forth. So I'm like, no. I took time, and it was around the COVID time as well. And at that time, I think everybody had really chilled and relaxed about life. We were all thinking differently. So I felt it to be more, I felt the importance the more to address issues like this. And it wouldn't be my first time, because I was the same one who sang Rango. Tell me where we gonna Rango.
Exactly.
After making ours. So I felt the opportunity to drop another classic, and I did. The song was recorded, in Ghana. I had made my producers give me a rhythm that would really sink. The reggae rhythm is classic. It will live on forever. So I just poured my heart out. I went on to actually raise resources to shoot a video as involving as this, and promotion and everything, and actually went to the media tour about it, just to add my quota to a pending situation.
Well, I guess you must feel a lot of fulfillment after the song getting noticed and winning an award
for sure.
The VGMA.
For sure, I'm very, very, very glad that I feel proud of myself, honestly, because this is going to be one of the first awards I would have won doing, when I dropped Rango, but this has been well received by the masses, and for Vodafone Charterhouse coming together to award this song gives me a lot of joy, and it actually clashed with my comeback, which, I'm happy about this, honestly speaking, and I'll continue to use my voice. This tells me that yes, people listen to me, yes, but then using my voice to continue to advocate for stuff like this. I'm always in that space, doing skill training with the Livingston Foundation and Ashaiman, having to be the one to do Ashaiman to the world, to be able to change the narrative of Ashaiman, how people used to see Ashaiman. And so I've always been in that business of using my voice, representing for the people, because that's what I stand for.
And still speaking about the VGMA, you were away from the VGMAs for about 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you come back, and then you pick up these awards.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be back? To be back, at the VGMA. Looking back on, all that happened, of course, we don't want to get into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But of course, you're able to put all of that behind you.
Absolutely.
And now you are back at the VGMA, and then you come back to the VGMA, and then you win an award with this song, and then you win Reggae Dancehall
Artist of the Year,
Artist of the Year.
I've never, like you say, I come back. I never left. I remain a Ghanaian, and I remain a musician. And Ghana Music Awards will always be there. We all know what happened, and so there was a short break. So let's just say I went for a commercial break, and I came back, winning the Reggae Dancehall Artist of the Year for the 6th time. So, Jano, it's just consistency, like I said, on stage. Even if I was present at the awards or not, I would still have to be consistent with the music. And I think that is what I kept doing. That's why my comeback has been this, huge. But even so, the years that I was not, participating with my works personally, those years have had me dominating, a few categories with features that I've done. So that tells you that it's all about consistency, and I'm glad to be here and consistent as a Ghanaian artist representing for the arts. And I can never leave until probably when I'm no more in person. But even so, my music will still continue to be here with the people. So, you know.
So who's that award dedicated to?
Who's
that award dedicated to?
Which one, please?
Reggae dancehall actor.
Yes,
Artist of the year.
On stage I dedicated it to all of my brothers in the category.
Yeah.
And even so, those who are watching and feel very inspired as young artists to continue to work hard and be consistent. And I stated vividly that was especially Samini, the legend, in that category as well. You know, just the same people are dedicated. And my fans definitely, this is for them, because I think they feel more happier when we progress, because they're following us and they're showing us a lot of love. So when we actually excel, it gives them joy, probably more than we do, because seeing somebody happy for what you have done, that's how I derive my pleasure. So
I believe a lot of congratulations have been coming in, since you won that award. I mean, you mentioned Samini. Have you heard from Samini on that?
No. I haven't heard from personally, but honestly, I don't. These things don't really. I hardly think on that tangent, because it's not honestly really necessary, to be honest. Like we are all busy people running around. Sometimes you have thoughts you can't even remember. So I don't take those things hardly at all. It doesn't really come to.
Have you heard from your brother Shatta?
It's in that line.
In the same line. Yeah. I see. So I mean, recently also you've been doing a lot of shows, around the world. I mean, recently there was Accra, in Paris. In the last few weeks, I mean, you've performed, you've shared the stage with people like Sarkodie and all of that. What has all of that been like? I mean, even Memphis in May and all of that, all of these things you've been doing. Walk us through how all of that has been like. You've been busy.
Very busy. Right from January, I think February, I was in Gambia, and then I never stopped. If you check the calendar, you'd realize that there have been shows that I've been hitting at from time. And the last two would be Paris and Memphis. And we have a list of other big events lining up for summer. And a few ones. I see it as I'm only representing the flag of Ghana, internationally everywhere I go. And when I get into these places and I hit the platforms and I'm able to deliver, it gives me a lot of joy, because the people I think first about is Ghana and what they're going to say and how they're going to feel. So when we're able to, in quote, murder the situation, then you know that, yes, there's going to be a lot of happiness from home, and there's going to be doors opening abroad. That's how I've always felt, and I'm working. For me, it's work. When I'm on stage and I'm making you jump, laugh, cry, smile, all these things, it gives me joy that I'm able to work. Yeah.
So I mean, what do you make of the crowd? I mean, the audience that you're able to perform to, the reception and all of that, when you were doing all of these shows? Mad thing.
I remember right from Gambia when I hit stage. Shout outs to my fans in Gambia. I'm almost passing to be a Gambian, because the love is real and I appreciate it. When I hit the stage in Memphis, a lot of shows went to UK for Davido's show, and when I burst out at the backstage, there was like 20,000 capacity screaming and showing excitement of having seen me. Just, it gives me a lot of joy knowing that we are going somewhere, because the aim is to actually get global with it, and hoist the flag of Ghana on the entertainment scene when it comes to the quota that Africans have to, pour into that pot. So yeah. I'm really proud of myself to be like a strong figure, in these times, having to add up to what our legends and predecessors have always done. So yeah, man, the reception is dope. If you're a performer, you're a performer. And I always work on my craft, to get better and better and better when I'm on stage. So crowd engagement and delivery is key. And I think I score a lot of points for that.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to ask you about your new song, but before we get there, one of the people that you shared the stage with was Sarkodie.
Yeah.
And previously, of course, there were rumors that you were not cool with Sarkodie because of a certain incident that happened involving someone as part of his entourage. What's up with you and Sark?
I mean, I know these questions will come.
Yeah.
This is Ghana. People love to get into
people want
personal
to
business.
know. I mean, people want to know.
You see, as far as I'm concerned, we are men, and I have always lived my life, you know, with all honesty, to the best of my knowledge. So we all heard the description. We all heard what happened. We all heard the news. People have. Let me rectify. We all heard the news. But most of the news that was said was wrong because people had to write headlines that will suit their stables to catch attention for people to, you know, you read the headlines, you go into the story and you don't find anything.
Yeah.
And we always remain at the headlines anyway. So a lot of those ones spread and it painted, you know, it was seeming to paint me in a very unclean manner.
In a negative light.
You know, and I left it to the truth to come out in the end, and people realized that it wasn't that deep. It wasn't that, you know, the misconstrue and all of that. But we're men. So I think the first time we met properly would have been, in France, you know, and then that was where as men, you know, there's no need to, I mean, it's what it is.
Continue holding the grudges.
There's no, it's not like we can jump at each other and hug each other like there was nothing at all. But you realize that when these things do happen, it gives us an opportunity to be able to study and know each other well, irrespective of the perception people will build, like even fans whatsoever. It gives us individual artists the opportunities to get to study and know how to walk and know how to move with one another, you know, concerning the work. So France was nice. We got on stage. Y'all saw it. Did my thing. He did his thing. And then went on to Memphis as well. That was when I think it was nice out there.
Yeah.
You know, when I got on stage, I saw him in the crowd, cheering up, supporting with his whole team. And then they walked to my cabin because he had performed the day before. So the Sunday was my day. They pulled over. They came to my trailer. We chilled. What I remember, I probably even left. I left before they left, so I left my trailer for them.
So it's all essentially it's all well and good.
It's all vibe. As far as I'm concerned, it's good now. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's good now.
So I mean, let's talk about your new song, Therapy. Tell us about it.
Therapy is the latest, freshest, newest song right now that I think if you haven't heard, you're wasting time. You know what I mean? Because this is I'll say this is an improved and another hit that is different. Because, you know, I'm always known for, you know, doing the most, you know, surprising people. Like one time is this, one time is that, you know. And this one is dope. This one is actually tailored to actually take Ghana to the next level, honestly speaking. You know, because we've been here for quite some time. You know, we've had immense progress when it comes to dancehall, when it comes to reggae, when it comes to Afrobeat. You know, I can list hits from different styles, and this one actually is dope. It has a fusion of, as a love song, has a fusion of dancehall, R&B, and Afrobeat. You know, so my thing, it's called Therapy. Was recorded in Miami by some of the dopest, Super Dupes, Easy, Daramola. These are some of the craziest you can find in the game. And GHOne, you know, it's fresh.
I mean, there's not a video for it yet.
Nah, the video is going to come this week. So I want you guys to, you know.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing the video, but I think we'll play a bit of the song at some point during this interview. But of course, I mean, not just Therapy. We also want to talk about Def Jam. We've had Stonebwoy and Def Jam. What's all of that about, really?
All of it is just about the progress and how we've been able to come this far to be able to pen a deal with the almighty Universal Music Group, with Def Jam and the following Def Jams as an affiliate or as sub labels underneath it.
So what's the nature of your deal with or your signing with Def Jam?
The nature of my deal is a global deal, is a partnership between Burlington Music Group and then Universal Music Group / Def Jam, you know. And it has it such that Def Jam and its affiliates will be representing my works, my music, my career globally, because it's a global deal. So you have Def Jam Africa representing for Africa, and you have Def Jam in America representing for America. You have the 0207 Def Jam in London representing for UK and its environs, and then you have Afro Force, if I'm right, also representing in Europe and all of that. So that's a big deal that, you know, I think I'm super proud of. It's something I've been expecting for a while now and working at anyway. So when the news broke, I know with the weight it carries, we all can see how very important it is to join the likes of, you know, the Kanye's and the Rihanna's on their mother label, you know. So it makes a lot of.
But you're already a big African act.
Yeah.
Yes, I say that you're already, you know, a big African act. You've done beautiful collaborations with you know A-listers from, you know, hip hop. I mean, from the Kerry Hilsons and, you know, all of those people. So you are pretty well known. I mean, Burlington music is doing well. So I mean, what is Def Jam bringing on board? What dimension is Def Jam bringing, you know, to I don't know, project Beam Nation in a different? I mean, what extraordinary thing do you think that Def Jam or this deal with Def Jam is going to do for you as Stonebwoy, your music career and Beam Nation?
To be honest, you know, they say the sky is not even the limit. And there are so many things that we haven't done yet. But there are lots of things that we have done, owing to the fact that we've been independent all these years and having coupled these international affiliations and relationships. These are the things that have actually gotten us a deal like this. You know, because the world stage is larger than you may think. The world stage is obviously bigger than Accra, you know, and there are definitely machineries that are required to be able to put us in the global limelight. So all these achievements, all these ones that I've been doing, give thanks to God and glory be to Him by our own independent strength. Now the team is just getting broader or has gotten broader. So that tells you if I used to rack up maybe, you know, if I used to rack up maybe 5 shows, I'm going to be now able to rack up 10 shows, different standards, different calibers. And there are several features that I'm dreaming of that I've not been able to do yet. Imagine I do a song with Kanye West. Imagine I do a song with Rihanna. Imagine I do a song with Jay-Z. These are heights that we haven't touched yet. And I'm somebody who dreams beyond that even. So if maybe your dream is less than this, then fine. But my dream is even more than that. So I need the machinery. I need the relationships. I need the company of world giants like Universal Music Group to be able to drive me there. Because there's a lot to do. We have to fill arenas. We have to represent for Ghana properly. You know, like Osibi Sadem did and all of that. And I think we're trying, but there's more room for improvement, even as high as we have reached.
So is there duration for the deal?
I mean, just like every deal, there must be.
So how long?
It's actually in album terms and single terms. And the progress of it also determines, you know, and it's the dynamics is there. So we're doing like between 1 to 3 albums for now, and that alone can take up to a number of years, owing to how we decide to deliver. Not deliver as in performance. Performance is different from delivery. We can choose to drop a single today, probably drop another single next year. So the time span in between is going to count for the time, right? And meanwhile, we're supposed to drop 3 albums, 1 to 3 or more singles. So it's going to be a relationship that's going to last for a while.
For quite a while. We're excited about that.
Absolutely.
Let's come back to Ghana. Let's talk. I mean, there are a lot of new and budding artists, you know, on the scene. I mean, you saw quite a number of them at the VGMAs. I mean, you know, also trying to push through and making waves. I mean, you saw people like Black Sheriff, you know, and co. Well, what do you make of the new crop of artists, who are out there now, trying to follow in your footsteps and, the footsteps of others in the industry?
Well, I'm very, very, very honored and grateful, because when you take it from this perspective, you realize that once upon a time, from 2009, I have been a new artist coming up from that time. And you can count the number of years it has been now that we're still here representing and pushing. So I think it's the best for an industry. A growing industry is one that produces more and more and more artists, and also, eulogizes its legends and those who have been setting the path and setting the trends, so that the old and the new can actually forge together to make things happen and represent for the country. So I'm really happy for everybody who's pushing and working, and we all know the name you've mentioned, especially is GHOne.
Yeah,
is doing massive.
What do you think of his music? People say his music is one way or one dimensional. Let me put. Some critics have said that he needs to display a bit of dynamism and all of that. What do you think of all of these comments?
I think I leave that to the critics. I'm not a critic. I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I'm a fellow creative, person. So I leave it to the critics to enjoy their opinions. All I care about is for them to actually, make constructive criticism. So what they're saying could be, is also laudable. It's a laudable submission. But I believe as an artist, your style is your style. You can only continue to produce in that manner. If you're a farmer and you produce yam, it's yam. Whether the yam comes achia, we just have to enjoy it. And I think I think that these critics are, most of them who know very well, actually do give some constructive criticisms that help to guide the artist. And few of them who just say things from personal observations and personal feelings also add to destroying, a growing career. So that's what I would just beg, that we actually study the game and come across with it nicely, so that it doesn't be like you're tearing somebody down, because we are all growing,
Would you love to do a collaboration with Black Cherry?
He's in my eyes. I'll say he's my youth, because these are 19, 20-year-olds, and we've been here for a while, though we're not that old. I think from the beginning, when he dropped the first song, was it second or first sermon?
First sermon.
I was in New York. with a few Jamaican friends, who wanted to do a collaboration, to feature him on a song. That's where I actually got the opportunity to link up and, and tell him about it, and really didn't hear anything from that end. But, I'm good. Collaborations would come. Different teams are working on different things, and I think that's just what it is.
Okay.
Right now, my focus is actually looking beyond the shores, mainly, so
beyond the shores of Ghana, mainly, to get a lot more international acts.
Exactly.
Okay, but one thing I've also wanted to ask you is about the deputy minister for the creative arts, sector, Marco Kweku. Everybody was rooting for him because he was seen as one of the people who understands the industry. Now he's been in that position for about 2 years. Are you impressed with his performance and the work he's trying to do for the creative arts sector?
Honestly, I'm not following keenly. If I did follow keenly from toe to toe, then I'll be able to make some very, very constructive, submissions here. But as far as I'm concerned, within his tenure in power, like you're saying, we all trust him to be a pioneer who has actually produced many, many big artists in this industry, and therefore he knows his ways around. Congratulations to him once more. I rooted for him, and I believe that he has the interest at heart to also change something, because there's definitely a need to change something in our industry. And one thing I pray is that he's able to achieve, because it's a different thing wanting to be in the seat, and it's another thing entering the seat. That I know. So I wouldn't go hard on anybody right now just by saying what I want to say. But I think they made a move that actually gave some of the artists, I know it's not everybody who was able to get some. I did, because we had a meeting one time I bumped into a meeting one time, and then I met the minister himself, and then I tabled some of the challenges. It was around the COVID time, you know, and then they worked together with the ministry to sort, you know, some
of those issues out.
To specifically to drop some few coins for, you know, those who have been actively involved in stuff. So that is one thing that I know was specific that they done.
Okay.
And hopefully I pray that, you know, we're able to see the work so much so that there's no need to doubt anything. Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to be wrapping up our conversation. It's unfortunate. I wish we had more time. But a word to all the BIM natives out there.
Right now, I just want to tell my fans, all Ghanaians, basically. I mean, the fan base, the core, the nation is BIM Nation. But I just want to tell all Ghanaians to continue to support the Ghanaian artists because it's looking bright and it can get brighter. They've always wished for us to be on these platforms and be great. And they can only, you know, be great at their support to get us there. So one thing I want to say is keep the support, BIM Nation, you know. Keep the love, keep the strings out, play your role, play your parts, you know, as Ghanaian citizens, you know what I mean? Every artist must have their core fan base, which is very important, you know, so I'm appreciative of the fact that you guys have been with us from years, and I trust that I'm making you guys proud every minute, every day, because I live my life for this. So big respect, continue to support the music, greater heights, greater heights. You know, Ghana music shall prosper, like I said, in the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen to that. And therapy is out, right? So where do we get therapy? Of course,
therapy is
not
everywhere.
pirating, of course, where we can get it
everywhere.
Yeah. So what are the platforms therapy is on? How do we get our hands on it?
Therapy is out on all online platforms, from Spotify to Deezer to Boomplay. Once you have any music app, you can grab it. You know what I mean? Like get on the YouTubes. You can watch the lyrics video. And all these ones, you know what I mean? So just type Stonebwoy. If you've forgotten how to spell my name by now, it's STONEBWOY. Therapy. Therapy is not TERA, it's TH therapy. You'll get it.
Yeah.
See?
And I think that's what we're going to sign out with, Therapy. Absolutely. We'd love to hear that song. But before we get out of the studio, it's about time we evolved from the